Well. Good evening and welcome back to the Different Perspective channel. I am your host, Leah Njahi, and I know it's been a minute since I have updated any videos on my YouTube channel. But I gotta tell you, this between adulting, looking for money, taking care of shit, you can say that on YouTube, right? It's a lot. I don't say it's a lot. So, I would have just let this slide, but I feel like because the social media is judge, jury, and executioner, sometimes our side becomes very clouded. So there's this video that has been making turns and rounds on YouTube, on social media platforms, about a woman who takes poison in front of the husband, and the husband was sat watching. So this is the thing. I don't think we are ready to have that sober conversation that looks at this in a 360 view. Okay, we might not have the full story, we may not have been present at the scene, but we cannot pride ourselves to be right or morally upright by shaming the man. By no means this is not right. I'm not excusing the behavior. It's totally wrong. But have we stopped to think that just like there are toxic men in our society, there are also a good chunk of toxic women? If you ask me, yeah, whatever happened is wrong. It's not right by any length, yeah. But I have very simple question. Number one, where was the poison? Because it just felt like she had it here. Ilikuwa tu hapa hivi. Number two, the kids were in the house. She knew this. She knew the kids were in the house. Number three, the fact that the guy was so calm, is this a repetitive behavior, or was it the first time? Because he wasn't sure. You see, they say you cry wolf until the day the wolf attacks. Nobody in the village ever comes out because they're so used to the young boy crying wolf when the wolf is never really there, right? There's disagreements in homes, and I'm not married, so I cannot speak in that capacity. But where we have responsibility to ourselves and those around us as a human being, I think we ought to hold everybody accountable. First of all, if this is a repetitive behavior, then it must be known that uchali angeambia msee kenye happen kwa nyumba yake hakuna mtu angeye muamini. Mpaka labda siku moja aseme, let me record this so you guys understand in depth what I actually go through in the house. I don't know, that could be one of the possibilities. But let's go to the woman. The fact that she was doing it on his face, as if to put a burden of guilt. And even after she took the poison, she still had a conversation with the kids. How toxic and how dark can any situation get before we realize sometimes it's just a mental case? People are not, shida ni tumekuwa tukisema mental illness is such a white thing. But what would you say in such scenario? Because no mom, let me not say no mom, because people are twisted out here. I don't think the functioning lot amongst us, yeah, would intentionally do that, knowing that the kids are in the house and knowing that this could totally go south, yeah, and still risk putting the kids through that trauma. What I know is nobody in that household will ever be the same again. The kids, manze, mimi hata sijuka unachukia mtu kiasi gani ndio uwekee watoto hiyo. Unajua we come from a generation where we never used to have a talking relationship with our parents. So most people come from very toxic households. Yeah, and very few people will come and articulate and say they had a toxic mom. Very few people. Yeah, very few people will come and say my mom was like this and like that, because how the woman has been placed in the society is always a vulnerable person who has no capacity to do any harm. But then that just shifts all the blame to the boy child, always. Always, so we can sit here and say how the man is so heartless, how he's so inhumane, but we excuse the action of the woman. And we normalize that it's okay for us to be frantic, it's okay for us to just go insane, go mad, and expect to, knowing that we will be treated with remorse and sympathy, as opposed to the abuse we inflict on our partners. But we are not ready for that conversation. Oh, you don't understand. Nee. Until when are we going to be excusing bad behavior? Until when? That situation, it didn't happen. It shouldn't have happened, but it did. Yeah? How many households have crazy women? But how many men are being beaten by women outside here? But they can't talk about it because you can't win. You can't win an argument or a domestic violence fight against a woman. We have very vindictive people. We have very insane people. They'll be the one inflicting pain on you, and they are the ones who are crying for help. What anakuja unashangaa ni mwanamke mbaya anapigwa hivi, kumbe all along ni chali anatandikwa. And the guy is holding themselves back because they know if they engage in violence, it will be different. Yeah? So let's just sit back for a moment. For the sake of objectivity and not to be right, just to understand how the situation is, and look at all the other players in this video. The kids, the man, the poison, proximity, the access to it. Yeah? Hata mtu ujinyonga yuka chini anafikiria anaenda ananunua kamba, anakuja naifunga. I don't think there's any amount of therapy that would ever save those kids. It's like, I would compare this situation to an act of abuse, sexual abuse. There's no amount of therapy that will take away that timeline from you. And in a very dark and scarring way, it marks you for life. But no one is sitting to look at the kids. No one is taking a moment to ask, how long has this been happening? This can't be a one-day event, really. It can't be that this is the day, this is the first time this is happening. It cannot be. And maybe I could be wrong, and maybe I could be in my own head playing out situation. But yes, I'm welcoming you on. Listen, the intention of my channel is to make sure in whatever case we find ourselves as human beings, that I can welcome you to the side that I see things a little bit different. Passing blame and pointing fingers never really resolves anything. Until we are able to step out of the situation and look at things objectively, we cannot come up with any resolve. We cannot come up with any solution. And I know people are masters in spewing hate and distasteful comments. It tells you a lot about us human beings. Our capacity for danger and damage is so intense that we get an outlet, we are going full force and not stopping and thinking twice about it. I mean, I would welcome any other thoughts on this, but if you ask me, yes, the situation is wrong, but can we, if we're looking to have a solution, if we're looking to put a stop to this, can we understand how it came to happen in the first place? How did the video get to the media? Yeah? There's so many unanswered questions, but all we're doing is we're sitting and pointing fingers. This is something that happened a year ago. But sasa saizi, we are judge, jury, and executioner. We are the ones with the right moral compass. Kusema huyu ndo mwenye amekosea, he's so heartless. I've seen comments about you guys. I've seen the comments people are posting out here. It defeats me. Yeah? But we because situations are not happening right in front of us, so we push it. So if that was your son, and those are your grandkids, in that situation, as a mother, because most of us have baby boys. I do have a baby boy. Would this conversation be different? Would you have wished the narrative was different? How would you have handled this situation? But because it doesn't involve you in any proximity whatsoever, you can pull any card. You can play God. You can, we wanna be the one that shows you the wrong and the right. Who are we kidding? We are dark to the core. We're just good at masking it. And because the girl child has been spoken for a very long time, we know we can be a billion other dark things, and we know that will still slide, because we are the vulnerable. Women are so fucking manipulative. We know this about us. And the woman in question, I don't know her character, I don't know the kind of person she is, but the fact that she took the poison in the house, knowing that the kids were there, and that whole situation, how it happened, it didn't have to be like that. If you truly love your kids, you would never have to put them in a position like that. Never. You're intentionally scarring them. You're intentionally sinking the whole ship with you. But then those are just my thoughts, I'm not looking to be right or just about anything. I'm just saying, can we widen our thoughts? Can we not look at this from a very emotional point? Can we look at this in a way that provides solution? And mental, you see, this is the thing. I don't think we are aware when people are mentally ill. And we think people are mentally ill or wako madhare, uko tundo place wako. Watu wanatembea hapo hivi wanaka put together, wanaka very well compartmentalized. But watu wako sawa. But when we see the results, we don't look at the results to see the cause. We're looking at the results to execute. But what does that save? Yeah, what does that solve really? We all want to be right on social media, but for what? Kesho ukisikia imefanyikia mtoto wako, utasema mtoto wako kesho akikuja kwambia mom, enyewe mimi nilipata dem mzuri nilioa lakini inafanyika. What will you tell your kids? Because the boy child has been so neglected that we are so far off to acknowledge that they're also having struggles, and some of these struggles are inflicted by us women. Nobody wants to do that. Na ni sisi tumezaa, ni sisi wanaume hawazai, ni sisi tunazaa. Msichana kijana ni mwanamke anazaa. But if your optics are only functioning when it's affecting you directly, and it's not functioning objectively when it doesn't, who are we playing? Tunadanganya nani? Ngoja chill, tunadanganya nani? If we can't look at any, unajua social media vile inakuwa na chocha. If we can't look at anything objectively, what do we expect? Just as the man is at fault at watching the whole thing unfold, the woman too is at fault. May her soul rest in peace, but she's also at fault too, in a very dark way and in a very scarring way. Hao watoto wataishi wakisema mama yao alijuanga mbele ya baba yao. So yes, let's hypothetically say, let me do this for the sake of, marrying my husband and scarring my kids. Then you're dead and you're all gone. So your husband goes to prison. Who raises the kids? Mumeishi na relatives, So who raises the kids? It's not like we have a system that works, that makes sure kids are okay. Who raises the kids? This is social media. The kids will come and see this one day. Either they will be full of resent, they will be very cynical, they'll be very bitter with life. Who knows? And it's not like we're making the situation any easier by spewing insults and hate on social media. What is that solving? What is it solving? At the end of the day, we all must realize that regardless of how any situation ever plays out, we ought to be accountable for ourselves, either as the victim or the perpetrator. We all have to be accountable. Accountability is key if you're looking for any resolve and making sure that there's no repeat of this. I'm by far not perfect. I have my 1,001 flaws, but I know Mimi is human. I do. But can we agree to disagree that we will have different thoughts about certain issues, but the overall objective should be that we try and find a solution to this or any other future problems similar to this. So our job is not just escalating issue after issue after issue, because we know that we ride on that a lot. Can we just take a moment, just step back? None of you knows these people in person. It happened 1 year ago. Alisha Zikwa. Nobody knows these people's life. Well, this is just a glimpse. This is all we know. This is all we are working with. But then we want to be. Sisi ndo tuko na manual ya maisha. Anyway, those are my 2 cents on this issue. And you see, the sad bit is most of y'all, we come from broken homes, we come from very toxic homes, but now that we are adults, we're just gonna act like, oh, that shit didn't even hit me. Some of us, we're toxic. We know that. But we can't take ownership on that. We can't. And sometimes our toxicity is a mental illness that actually needs professional help. But we don't know also how to ask for help, because we want to all appear perfect. We all fucked up in some sort. It's just the notch is different for every one of us. But hey, do what you feel, do whatever you feel is right. Because if we say just, that is very subjective also. Whatever you consider just for you is very different from whatever somebody considers just for them. You do what you feel is right. Make sure your conscience sits well and sits right with you. Hizi zingine like my friend would say one day, good vibes and inshallah. As a society, I would like for us to thrive, to do better. And before we jump to any conclusion, that we try and hold everybody, all parties accountable, and try and see the full picture. Nobody has asked this guy or the kids what happened. If you're looking to find solution besides pointing fingers, kuna mtu ameshughulika na kuuliza huyu boy nini ili happen kweli? Kuna mtu ameshughulika kuuliza hii video ilikuwa imekuwa shared na nani? Was it in confidence? Ndani yake imekuja ku resurface 1 year later. Kuna mtu anashughulika kujua nini kweli ili happen, ama this is it. This is all we know. This is what has been shown to us. This is it.